Good morning. Welcome to the sports segment of the weekend show. My name is Odiri Akwan. So first of all, I'd like to say that today and the entire weekend is a whole new weekend for sports. A lot of things are going on in the world of sports. The Cricket World Cup is on. The FIFA Under-20 World Cup is on. Also, today, Anthony Joshua will defend his heavyweight titles I say, against Andy Ruiz Jr. And also tonight, UEFA Champions League final is coming up. Right now, I'll take you into the inspirational quote for the show. We have five-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton, and he says, "I don't aspire to be like other drivers. I aspire to be unique in my own way." So, hashtag uniqueness right here on the show this morning. But let's start off with the UEFA Europa League final, where Chelsea trashed Arsenal 4-1 in the final of the UEFA Europa League during the week, and it ended with goals from Giroud, and also Pedro was in on the goals. Hazard scored twice, one from a penalty kick, and of course, fantastic goal, a great goal for the final from Alex Iwobi. Not enough to give Arsenal what they needed, because that win for Chelsea denied Arsenal the chance to be in the Champions League for next season. Also, after the final, Eden Hazard, Chelsea midfielder, came out to say that will be his last game for the club. And also, the press was speaking to Chelsea manager Maurice Sarri with all the rumors about him getting ready to leave the club or being sacked by Chelsea. He came out and said, "Look, I think I deserve to stay back at the club." Let's take a look at the highlights, and of course, Hazard speaking to the media and Mauricio Sarri.
Bacic, Emerson, and Chelsea go in front. Chelsea with an overload. Here's Pedro. 2-0 to breaks. Pedro. Giroud waits for his chance. Giroud goes down. Hazard scored. Lacazette. Oh, that's magnificent! What an impact and what an introduction. Arsenal have surrendered possession too easily. Giroud. Hazard! Well, that is sublime. Arsenal creating their own problems. It's going to be his night. It's going to be Hazard's night. And it's going to be Chelsea's night.
Years. No matter what the rows and the turmoil, and sometimes the chaos.
No. Yeah, I think it's a good buy, but in football you never know. You know, my dream was to play in Premier League. I did this for 7 years in the biggest club in the world.
Do you think that you deserve to remain as the manager of Chelsea Football Club?
I think so, but it's only my opinion. My opinion, so, but it's only my opinion. My opinion is not enough.
The guys, that is the past. Yes, the Europa League final, Chelsea's victory is in the past right now. The future is here, and we're talking about the UEFA Champions League final. Tottenham takes on Liverpool for the UEFA Champions League final tonight. Now, Liverpool are going to be aiming to pick up a 6th European Cup European title, but it's going to be the first title they're trying to get again. Well, they got to the final last season, but they remember in 2005 they won the trophy against AC Milan. That's the UEFA Champions League trophy. So they're trying to see if they can make it another one in the new era. Okay, so let's go to Tottenham. They have never appeared in the final, in the UEFA Champions League final, but their best performance so far had been in the 2010-2011 season, when they got to the quarterfinal of the competition. Now let's take a look at some of the facts of this particular encounter. Both teams have played together 170 times from the word go, from when the clubs were created, from when competitions were created in England. They have played 170 times against each other. Now, Liverpool have 79 wins, Tottenham 48 wins, and then I think there are 43 draws between both sides. But when you talk about recent times, there have been 14 matches between both teams since 2013, and Liverpool alone have picked up 9 wins. Now let's take a look at these other stats. It's coming up right here on the screen. You can see it: 48 wins for Spurs and 43 draws for both sides. Let's move on to some other interesting statistics. Now, let's talk about team news. Harry Kane is available after the injury he picked up in the quarterfinal first leg win over Manchester City. Dele Alli is also available. Jan Vertonghen also available for Tottenham Hotspurs. Danny Rose also in the mix there for Spurs. For Liverpool, Naby Keita is not available at all. He's going to miss the final today, but Roberto Firmino and Andrew Robertson are available for selection for Jurgen Klopp's team today. So more coming your way. Let's look at the match officials for the match tonight. Damis Komina is the match official from Slovenia. He will be officiating the game tonight. We also see assistant referees from Slovenia. Jure Praprotic is also there. Robert Vukan, both from Slovenia. We see the fourth official, the video assistant referee, and the VAR assistants. And offside VAR assistant is referee, I beg your pardon, is Mark Bosch from Germany. Let's take a look at the key stats and key players in this game. We see that Sadio Mane will probably have to face off with Kieran Trippier in that game today, and Mohamed Salah will have his hands full with Danny Rose. But also key players in the game for both teams. Spurs will have be hoping that Harry Kane, his feet, we're not so sure if he's in form, so they'll be hoping that the form will be okay with Harry Kane today. We also Spurs will also be hoping that Christian Eriksen brings their A game to the match tonight. But Liverpool have their hands full with Roberto Firmino. His feet is available. They also have Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane to look out for when they need just little moments of magic in the game. Okay, so we have to take a look at something like a video before a highlight of the season and the expectations from these two clubs.
Auch nicht aufgestiegen, bin zweimal nicht aufgestiegen und drin bin ich aufgestiegen. So hoffen wir mal, dass es bei Champions League genau das Gleiche ist. Jürgen Klopp, Liverpool FC.
We know that this club is the mix of atmosphere, emotion, desire, and football.
3-0 down against Barcelona, and you're thinking they've got Messi, we've got Anfield, the 12th man, and then Trent's corner, the moment of genius.
Go on, take it quickly, Origi!
Okay, now that's about it for the Champions League. Let's move on from the UEFA Champions League to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup.
Et physiquement.
Hugo Lloris, Tottenham captain.
Pochettino, Tottenham Hotspur,
Y esta es
my
mi
footballing
filosofía.
philosophy.
Yo creo que en el fútbol,
I think in football, passion is the main thing.
lo principal es la pasión. La pasión,
The football that we all love
las emociones,
comes from
yo creo que ahí
emotion
nace
and passion.
La verdad que
It was incredible.
fue una
It was an
explosión de
explosion of
emociones
emotions that ran through our bodies, and you could see that.
y la
With the
verdad
way
que se ha
we were
visto,
all
¿no?
running
Como
around,
todos
crying, jumping,
riendo,
shouting.
llorando.
Okay, let's move on straight from the UEFA Champions League final. I hope the best team wins tonight. And let's go to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Is currently on, but Nigeria, yes, we qualified for the for the second round of that's the round of 16 for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup currently going on in Poland. We did that courtesy of a 1-0 draw against Ukraine in our final Group D game on Thursday. Now, we had gone down by a goal to the Ukrainians, and we got a penalty. We lost the penalty, then we got another penalty, and we were able to get the 1-0 draw in that particular encounter. We qualified as one of the third best placed teams, one of the third best losers in the group stages. So we're into the round of 16, and let's take a look at the highlights of that game, Nigeria against Ukraine.
Here's Kashuk. Slipped by the defender, and there's the opportunity for the goal. Simple header for Danilo Sikan, and it's 1-0 to Ukraine. From this game, what can they do right at the end here? Referee has awarded a penalty for the challenge on Mohamed Tijani. Now he allows it to be taken. Brilliant save. It's well brought down. And across the face of goal, the referee is getting advice from the video operating room. Well, now this is becoming a full check. And he's had a look at the screen and he has decided that Nigeria are going to have their second penalty kick. Mohamed Tijani, this time he beats Looney.
Beautiful one there from the Under-20 World Cup. We're hoping that the team will get better as they move on in the second round of the competition, and maybe we can get to the quarterfinals and go on to the final. Let's go straight away from the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. We're going to boxing now. Anthony Joshua is going to be defending his IBF, WBA, and WBO belt against a Mexican, we can call him an underdog, Andy Ruiz Jr. today, of course, in New York, and it's Joshua's debut in New York, but it's a beautiful match. He has to defend the title on June 1st, or he might have to vacate that, so he had to do that. Remember, he was supposed to fight Gerald Big Baby Miller, but Miller was actually caught. Well, he failed the drugs test, so we had to go for Andy Ruiz. Now, if you look at both fighters, you see that Joshua comes in with a height and reach advantage over Andy Ruiz, height with 6'6" and a reach of 82" for Joshua. But for Ruiz, he has a height of 6.62 and a reach of 74. Now, it means that Joshua has an advantage over Ruiz, but that is not an advantage because both fighters have been speaking ahead of this fight, and Joshua came out to say, if you're fighting a boxer that is just a bit shorter than you are at a disadvantage because he can get to you, get down and get to you. You have to box down to get to your opponent. And Ruiz actually mirrored that thought and said, yes, he has got the advantage actually because he can easily get up to Joshua. So let's see how that pans out. Joshua will probably, hopefully, not underestimate Ruiz in this fight. Now, let's look at their boxing records. Joshua has 22 fights totally. He has 22 fights, and out of that, he's got 22 wins. 21 of those have been with knockouts, by knockouts, and then he has got no losses. But Ruiz's record has got a total of 33 fights, 32 wins, of which 22 are by knockouts, and the losses, he has got one loss. Now, that one loss was for Ruiz was from Joseph Parker. Now, looking at experience in this fight, let's take a look at what Joshua brings to the table when it comes to experience. Joshua has fought big names like Dillian White, Charles Martin, Dominic Breazeale, Eric Molina, Vladimir Klitschko, Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin. Now, all these guys were knockouts. The only exception was Joseph Parker that took him through to the end of the game of all the rounds, and he had to win, of course, from the judges. But Ruiz has, the only big fight Ruiz has had is the fight against Joseph Parker, which he lost. That's the only loss on Ruiz's record. And then the other guys he has fought, not as experienced as the guys that Joshua has fought, Alexander Demir, you see Tohama, you see Joe, you see Ray, and you see Kevin John, all the guys that he has fought in his experience. So on the experience level, Joshua has got the advantage there. But I guess when you get into the ring, it's every man for himself. Let's take a look at a preview of this fight.
After Jarrell Miller failed 3 separate drug tests last month, a proven and clever power puncher hopes to prove a more troublesome replacement. Andy Ruiz Jr., a game and ready opponent with a chance to become Mexico's first ever heavyweight champion.
Anthony, don't underestimate this little fat boy. I'm coming for you.
And a man who relishes the challenge of being the first man to beat the Brit. The 1st of June, Anthony Joshua's fight or flight debut on away soil. Will he be in for a rude awakening at Madison Square Garden, or another step closer to cementing his legacy in a packed-out heavyweight division? Here we take a closer look at Anthony's presentation.
All right, let's go straight away from boxing to another combat sport. You can call it taekwondo, and right here with me is Chika Chukwumerije, the 2008 Olympic bronze medalist for Nigeria, and also currently he is the technical director of the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation. Welcome to the show, Chika.
Azura, thanks for having me.
Okay, so this morning we're going to be talking taekwondo and how much of an impact you have made personally yourself in taekwondo in Nigeria, and also recently you were awarded with a certification for global educators.
Oh yeah.
By World Taekwondo
by World
Federation.
Taekwondo.
Yeah, so that is great. It shows that after winning taking up a bronze medal for us in 2008, you're still serving Nigeria and you're still serving taekwondo. So let's start off from what it is. Last year, I saw an interview where you said you wanted to ensure that we have a national team in taekwondo and a national taekwondo database. How much of that have you been able to achieve, or has Nigerian taekwondo as a whole been able to achieve?
I think a lot has been done. First of all, with regards to the national team, we floated the national ranking system, which is very vibrant. I mean, we saw the evidence of it during the National Sports Festival, where 11 out of the top 16 actually won the sports festival, stating that they were the best. So it's easy for us to have a national team from there. We also floated national junior championships, which we didn't have before. And this year, we're going to float the national cadets and kiddies. So the winners from this event will go ahead and form our national teams. So we've never participated like in the National Cadet Championships, World Taekwondo Cadet Championships, and want to make all this possible. So I think we've gone a long way. With regards to the database, we've adopted the World Taekwondo Global Membership System, and it's helping us to collate the information for all our members, and it has been excellent because sometimes people say, how many of you practice taekwondo in Nigeria? And the truth of the matter is that we don't know. We just know that when you go to every state, it's in all the schools, it's very vibrant. But you need the empirical data because it helps you to actually bargain better with the World Taekwondo body.
Okay, so this is the month of, this is the first day in the month of June. So you have a lot of events lined up, and I'd like you to shed some light on those events. I know that there's a senior cadet tournament, a national senior tournament.
Yeah, we have the national trials.
Okay.
Because even though we use the ranking system to invite people to come, we're also aware that you can have some really good athletes, maybe they miss the sports festival or the Nigeria Opens. And we want the people who have the best form going into the All-African Games in August. So we have national trials. We also have a national referee certification course because refereeing is very important. We have a Kokiwon certification. For Taekwondo, for you to have a black belt, there's this global certification that is very important. So prior to this administration, it was very expensive for our members. They were charging really high fees. And it was a lot of bureaucracy. So we cut all that because our members said they needed this, so we put it in there. So we have those 4 main programs coming up towards the end of this month. So
it's going to be really busy in taekwondo this month. I know it's also busy in other sports, but let's go straight to talking about what can Nigerians do to help improve the sport better. What can we do? I know you guys are doing a lot.
Yeah, you can invest in our programs. When we come do programs, you can show up to come and watch them.
That's even investment, your time.
Oh, yes. And, you know, I think what makes a sport rich is actually the number of fans. You know, and
followership.
Yes. So if you look at football, the amount of fans they have, basketball. So when you ask, oh, how do they make money, then look at the number of fans the sport has. So I think that the onus is also on us to expose the sport more to the audience, maybe more TV time, radio time, so that they can know what the sport is and come and support the sport.
Thank God you went to the money part, because that was the next question I was going to ask you. Taekwondo, you talked about bringing the fans more into the sport, but is it a money-spending sport? Is it a sport that people would like to stay to? Like now, I know most people that have kids go and look for the academy and put your child, go and play football. You are 3 years old, you are in an academy, you're playing football, you're going to school. Some of them, well, if they have money, basketball is the new age, because there's money in those sports. You can play basketball, you make money. Can we make money from Taekwondo?
I think, yes. Just like everything, you have to package it well. You might have the product, but you have to have the market. And they have to know this product. And I don't think there's any parent out there that don't want their child to be able to defend themselves against bullies. That's the selling point. We have to find the unique selling points for Taekwondo. It makes you fitter, it makes you more confident and all that.
Some people will say that Well, like now, the Champions League final, the winners will get about 120 million pounds. So if you have money, you can get a security guard.
I mean, we certainly will not become as rich as football or basketball.
Yeah.
But certainly you can create careers for coaches, for athletes, and right now, taekwondo is actually changing. I'll give you an example. The Grand Prix series, the winner walks away with $70,000.
Okay, that's money.
It didn't used to happen, you know, when we were competing.
Oh.
So taekwondo is actually changing. And in some tournaments in Nigeria, they've started introducing prize money.
Oh, that's
and
good.
so once we start getting more investors, these are things that we need to introduce to just encourage a lot of people to come in.
Okay, Chika, thank you so much for joining me on the weekend show today. All right, guys, it's a wrap on sports, on the sports segment of the weekend show. Back coming up later on is politics, so Cecile will be back in to take you through the rest of the show. And of course, next weekend, we get to talk about the UEFA Champions League final. Who won, who didn't win, and more coming your way on the weekend show. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned.